In the previous project, I set the font family of our title label to Arial Black. And you may have realized, as if you know typography, as you're looking at the output of that application, that the title is not in Arial Black. In fact, it's actually in OpenSans, which is the default font family in .NET MAUI. I've been showing you several times of adding font families as an attribute for labels and for entries and for editor views. However, it's always been using OpenSans, and that's because we have to add in our fonts into the resources folder and have it use that. In this video, I want to show you how to accomplish that. To add fonts to a project, we can go into the resources folder, open up the fonts folder. I'm going to Control-click on the Mac, choose Add Existing Files. I'm going to go into my hard drive, go to System, Library, and scroll in the library and you will find the Fonts folder, and there are all the fonts. So I want to find Arial. Now there's an Arial hb.ttc. That's not what I'm looking for, and the fonts have to be either a TTF, true type font, or an open type font, OTF. But on the Mac, there's also a folder here called Supplemental. And there's a lot of fonts in Supplemental, including the one I'm looking for, which is Arial Black. So I'm going to take Arial Black and Arial Bold, and also Arial. I'm simply going to click Open and add those to my directory. I'm going to copy the file to the directory. And then for each of these files, we need to select and go to Properties and make sure that the build action is MAUI font. So I can do it through the Properties window. I can also Control-click on the font and go to Properties and get to the properties that way as well. I'm going to add one more font. And that is Impact. So I'll copy that over and choose build action of MAUI font. And now those fonts are available to my application. If I run the application in the simulator, my title is now in Arial Black. I'm going to change this to Impact and then stop and run again. The title is now in the Impact font. And once again, I'll change this. Let's just make this Arial. And now it's in the Arial font, which isn't much different than OpenSans. In fact, if I were to get rid of that designation of font family, run again, it defaults to the OpenSans, and it's not that much different than Arial. Again, OpenSans is well optimized for mobile apps, and I recommend using it unless you really need to depart for decorative reasons, or maybe you want to use say a character of a symbolic font, or a particular font face is essential in your design. Let's take a look at this on the PC side. The installed fonts in Windows are usually located in the C directory, Windows folder, and a fonts folder. And sometimes fonts are in families. So here's Arial. You see there's multiple files. If I double click on it, we'll see that there are multiple Arial font files. And the ones that I want here, I'm just going to copy, because it's going to be easier to copy these to a new directory and open that from Visual Studio. So I can copy, and then I've created a directory called MAUI Fonts, and I'm simply going to paste. I'm going to go back to the fonts window, and there's another font that I really like for things like titles, and that is Impact. Now the Impact, I have Impact regular, it's a file by itself. I can just copy that, Control C, and then go back to my MAUI fonts. and paste. So those are 4 fonts I'm going to bring into my project. Now the file names themselves aren't overly descriptive, they're a little cryptic, and in .NET MAUI the file names are case sensitive and they need to be exact. I'm used to typing these in with an uppercase letter, so I'm going to change this impact. I'm going to rename it just to have a capital I. Same with the Arial up here, let's make this a capital A. And the fonts have to be either true type font or open type font, so TTF or OTF extensions. This one I'm going to make Arial bold. And we'll rename this one to Arial black. Now I'm going to add these into my project in Visual Studio. So in the Solution Explorer, I've opened up the Fonts Resources folder. I'm going to right-click, choose Add, Existing Items, and I'm going to go to my MAUI Fonts folder. And I want to make sure I'm searching for all files. I'm going to select all 4 of those fonts and say Add, and now they're part of my font resources. Now for each one of these, I want to make sure that the properties build action is MAUI font. In this case, all 4 of those have been converted to a MAUI font automatically. Now when we run our emulator, we should see that it's using the Arial black for the title. And it is indeed using Arial black for the font of my title label. If you just jumped into this video, you can see all the videos from the .NET MAUI Practicum playlist by clicking on the image in the lower right. And if you'd like to be alerted to future videos I create, you can click my picture in the top right to subscribe to the channel.